at the end of this expansion draft, the trade window opened immediately. And I mean immediately, that the expansion draft show on CBS Sports got to cover that as well. That's how quickly it happened. And this trade window is going to close on Friday, the 17th at 5 p.m. Ahead of the NWSL draft that's going to be taking place on Saturday. So a couple of trades that we're going to go through for everybody to sort of keep them in perspective of how things are going. The first one that got announced was between Angel City and Houston Dash. Angel City, again, they keep it moving, baby. Already looking to Saturday. They said, hey, let's make a move with Houston Dash. We're going to ask for the 6th pick in the upcoming 22 NWSL draft. And in exchange, we're going to give Houston $125 in allocation money and our 26th pick overall. I can't even say this word. It's not complimentary. It's just an extra pick that they're given as both San Diego and
compensatory. It's called a compensatory pick at the end of the second round for the NWSL draft. Both expansion teams, San Diego and Angel City, each received a compensatory pick, meaning that there will be 12 picks
Angel City said, "I don't want it. I don't need it." They included this in part of the trade. So Houston's is getting a pick. Right after it's still considered kind of in the early stage of the draft, and also getting a crap ton of allocation money. San Diego and Portland Thorns make a trade of their own. They acquire the rights to Kristen Westphal and Amira Ali, and Portland is going to receive $50,000 in allocation money. Gotham FC and San Diego Wave also engaging in a trade. This might be the biggest one, right? Or second to biggest one, depending on your perspective. Gotham FC acquiring the rights to midfielder Kristie Mewis in exchange for $200,000 in allocation money. Ooh. And Orlando Pride and San Diego Wave finally making it official and announcing it to the world that San Diego has acquired the rights to Alex Morgan from Orlando Pride in exchange for the rights to Angar James and $275,000 in allocation money. So we got to talk about it. Lisa, maybe let's talk about grades a little bit, right? If we can even try to put a grade on things. I think if you're looking at these two teams and how they handled their expansion draft night, you give them grades, but maybe they're winners in two different areas. I think if you're Angel City, I think you're grading them based on the players, right, that they acquired through the draft and even maybe through the trades. But then you've got San Diego getting back huge, a chunk of money and moving the money around, really making the allocation money work for them. When we're looking at these trades, Lisa, what are some of the bigger ones that are pointing out to you and why?
I mean, Gotham acquiring Kristie Mewis in exchange for $200,000 in allocation money. First, Kristie Mewis going to San Diego was a bit of a shock initially in the trade and in the draft, just because Kristie Mewis has been rumored to be going to Europe. She's been at Houston. She's a namestay there. It just was a little surprising to see San Diego pick her up. So then as soon as this trade was announced that Mewis would be heading to Gotham, it clicked and it all made sense. I mean, hindsight, right? It's always 2020. So seeing this move was huge. And now I'm very intimidated by Gotham's midfield unit that they have. They have McCall Zerboni. They have Ali Long. They have Kristie Mewis. They have Jennifer Cujo. This team for Gotham, they are looking to make a statement next year. So that was one of the biggest trades that I saw come out of post-expansion draft coverage that was happening. Not surprising at all that the Orlando and San Diego trade with Alex Morgan, because we knew that had happened. San Diego had announced that earlier in the week, and Orlando Pride had said, we're going to wait until the trade window reopens and we're going to follow the rules and we're going to walk the straight and narrow line and we'll announce this when the time is right and correct. But the thing that stood out to me about this trade is $275,000 in allocation money is going to Orlando. That is the highest trade amount in NWSL history. $275,000. That is a big chunk of change. And also with Haz James going from San Diego to Orlando, who was traded earlier in this offseason from North Carolina to San Diego. So lots of movement going on. I would love to take a look at San Diego's offices and see what their cork boards look like on their walls, because these trades and this chess game that Jill Ellis is playing with the NWSL is very impressive and fantastic to watch.
Listen, I've heard that you can't put a price on home. And San Diego said, yes, I can. Here is $275,000 and allocation money to Orlando Pride. I mean, let's talk about those grades. I mean, when we're looking at just the trades, right? Let's break it down into two parts. If we're giving grades on expansion draft night. And when you're grading San Diego Wave FC, Lisa, what kind of grade are you giving them and why? And what are you basing it on? Are you basing it on their selections or are you basing it on their trades?
Well, you have to look at the whole picture, the whole test that they were faced with tonight with the expansion draft, and then knowing that the trade window is going to open immediately as soon as the expansion draft ended. So because of that, as I was going along with my red Sharpie, as we do as teachers giving these grades, the draft was fine for them. They did okay. Getting Kristie McNabb was pretty good for them. Kristie Mewis was an interesting pick. Passing on two different drafts was interesting. That honestly dropped their grade a little bit, right? You start at an A+ and then you just drop from there. So because of that, San Diego went into the end of the expansion draft with maybe like a B-, I'm going to say. And then looking at how they took those draft picks that they had, especially Kristie Mewis, trading her away to Gotham in exchange for $200,000 in allocation money, their grade rose a little bit. I'm thinking like a B+, A- for San Diego based on the entire night and what they were able to do. For you, when you look at San Diego, where do they fall on your grade scale?
I'm staying in the B column as well. I don't know if I'm going to give him a minus. I think I'm going to give him just a solid B. I'm going to give San Diego Wave Football Club a B because I really do think that it's tricky when you're coming in as an expansion side, right? And to come into play and make both the trade window, the expansion draft selection process, and allocation money work for you all at once. And I think they did that to a certain extent. And while we are seeing, one of their top pick, right, their first pick of the night, be utilized as a trade asset, that doesn't necessarily mean that they didn't walk away with a couple players that aren't going to have an impact on their team. I think that getting Kristen McNabb, I think that getting Kaylee Real were two good picks for them to help continue to flesh out their roster. But really sort of making allocation money work for them, because during the initial trade window, there were some question marks where it's like, wow, they're just giving away this allocation money for to solidify their goalkeeping position, right? And then what are they going to do to try to maybe get some of it back, or how are they going to utilize? And we're seeing that sort of come in to play. It's like sometimes you got to move it around and make your money work for that. And I'm not going to act like it's not a historic move that they made for Alex Morgan, because it is. I mean, this is going to be the third inaugural team that Alex Morgan goes to in NWSL and helps sort of build from the ground up. We saw her get a start in 2013 with Portland Thorns. There was a big move that was made when Orlando Pride came in as an expansion side. She was with that club for 6 years, and now she's going back home to Cali, and she's going to do it again for a third time with San Diego Wave FC. So I'm excited to see that. There's definitely a story arc there, right, for Alex Morgan in her time and NWSL, and we're going to get to continue to see that. So I would give them a solid B. I think maybe I would give Angel City FC the B+, because I think when you're correct, you're talking about looking at things as a whole. I think they're walking away from this expansion draft night with all of it. They're walking away with players to help, sort of flesh out that roster, and they're walking away with good moves and good trades and good deals and picks looking ahead, right, to the regular NWSL draft that's going to take place on Saturday. So I'm going with a B+ for them. How about you?
I agree with that. I see that. So we'll stick. I want to be on the same page with you here. So we're B for San Diego. I like that for San Diego, and Angel City. They get that B+ based on the trades that they made. I like this. So overall, Angel City coming out the winner of tonight in the expansion draft, and then along with the trades even coming after it, because Angel City making those trades with Houston to get some money and trade around those picks. Angel City's still in the conversation.